Hey folks, day 3 of my Texas to Virginia trip puts me back in Virginia, of course. Uh, Staying in Warriors Path there in northeastern Tennessee. Uh, I can I can kind of stay at the campsite late, get late start, stop and have breakfast, do whatever, and still get in mid-afternoon uh, back to my mountain. Um, I'm quite familiar with this stretch of Interstate 81. I've traveled it many, many times. Uh, and Interstate 81 is something that can get ugly very easily, but um, I've been pretty fortunate with it on my Texas to Virginia, Virginia to Texas trips. I don't get stuck on it very often, or at least not for very long. Um, and maybe it's the time of day or what days I choose. I really don't know, but it's okay. But I'm back in Virginia now, and I've stopped at the grocery store. That's usually what I do. As soon as I make it, finish my trip, and I go to the grocery store and pick up a few things before I go out to my house. Um, this time I will be here um, 10 or 11 days, 12 days, I forget, uh, something like that. I will do the Woodstock Market on Saturday, and uh, I might see if I can do a little pop-up uh, just for grands um, at one of the places, one of the stores in Woodstock. There's a lady there that supports supports arts and crafts, and I could stop in and see her perhaps maybe sometime during the week. But I've got a lot of packing to do. I've got to unpack everything out of the truck, or I want to, um, because going back and forth and back and forth, it's you collect things, you know. The back of my truck is I hesitate to say it's my home, but it's the what I've got in the back of my truck is the stuff that I will have with me, uh, regardless of where I go. So I want to have stuff that's important to me in the back of the truck. Just as an example, I need a couple of screwdrivers, and I've got all my jewelry tools. I've usually got those very close, but um, you always need a screwdriver. You always need a pair of pliers. I got that. You want uh, you want a bottle of aspirins, and don't leave home without Alka-Seltzer or something to still your tummy. Um, if I get bug bit, I've got stuff to take care of that. If you've got an important paper you may need to have with you, prescriptions or something like that. If I leave them in my mountain house, then I don't have them when I'm in Texas. Or next month I'm going to be in Missouri, and I'm going to be there for quite a while. So you need. There's some things you always want to have with you, and so that's what I've got those in the back of my truck. Well, over time you accumulate stuff, or at least I do. Um, I don't need two screwdrivers, for example. Um, And I've got little bins and stuff in the back to, excuse me, I'm sorry, to hold. I sort of got it organized, but it's not as organized as it used to be because I can't reach that bin, so I take something out of my pocket and put it in this other bin. Anyway, uh, yeah, you always need some duct tape, and you gotta have some Loctite. When that screw comes loose, I had to repair my toaster oven, and I needed Loctite, so I've got Loctite. But you don't need all of that stuff. Some of it you can kind of thin down, and I needed to thin it down. Uh, so, and I need to thin it down rather. So it means going through everything in the back of my truck, and I haven't done that since I did my last. Uh, what would you call it if you were doing the kitchen remodel? Since my last remodel, since I last remodeled the back of my truck, I haven't gone in there and picked up everything. Do I really need this with me? That kind of thing. So that's something I want to do before I make my next trip, because my next trip will be to Missouri, and I will be living in the back of my truck in a campground for over a month. Uh, and that I'll be doing that guest craftsman at Silver Dollar City in Branson, which that's a fun gig. I enjoy it, but I want to have as much stuff out of the back of my truck as I can to give me more living room, living space, and it does pile up in there because it's got to be your closet, your kitchen. It's where you keep all of your toiletries. I've got extra sleeping. When I leave, it's going to be fairly warm. By the time I get back, I'm going to want my heater, and I'm going to want that electric blanket. So I want to get it all cleaned out, and then I want to thoughtfully put stuff back in again, but load it up for what I need. So anyway, that's what I'll be doing over the next week or so. And I need to go through my jewelry trailer and make sure I've got all the tools that I want to have with me, and that everything's secure, because you don't want that stuff bouncing around, of course. Some of those tools, they're strong tools, but some can be broken, and you don't want to break those. That stuff's way too expensive to replace it just because it got bounced around in the back of the trailer. With my jewelry trailer, I can have a few extra things. I can put some of the stuff that I might normally have in. I can put that in my trailer instead of the back of my truck. And I may try to fix up kind of a little closet or something in there to hang my clothes in, for example. I won't put a whole lot of stuff back there because it gets pretty full of studio tools. And by the studio tools, I mean you've got to have a table with a tablecloth set out so that you. I don't think I need to take a table this time. That's right. Silver Dollar City, I don't have to have a table. So I can take my table out. That'll give me a little extra space. But I've got to have a chair. And it should not be a plastic chair or a metal chair. I need a wooden chair. That's one of their requirements. They want to minimize the visibility of modern things like plastic. You're not supposed to have a plastic cup. You can have a ceramic coffee cup or a metal solid coffee cup, but not plastic. that kind of thing. You know, they're trying to make it appear that it's 1890, and so we're talking pre-plastics, really. I don't know if they were developing plastics then or not, but they weren't in common usage. I don't think they developed plastics until like what, World War II or so. I don't know. I'm no historian. But anyway, that's going to be the challenge next time, because instead of making a 3-day trip, which I will be making a 3-day trip, I could make it in 2 days, but I'll probably do the trip in 3. Just because I've done a trip in 2 days that's over 1,000 miles, it wears on me. But it's right at, I think 1,050 miles from here to there, so I might do it, but at the same time, I don't want to get in late in the day. I want to get in fairly early, so I'll probably make it in 3 days. Because when I set up my campsite, I'm going to be setting it up for staying there a month. And staying there that much time, I'll need to put a little thought into it. I'll be at the same campground, Tall Pines or something like that, I forget. But I will be at a different campsite. And the campsite that I got last year was a little difficult to get in and out of, and it wasn't quite level. But other than that, it was all right. But they put me into something that it sounds like they feel is a much nicer site, so that's fine. It's expensive for a month, and 3 or 4 days, it's going to be $800, $850, something like that. It's an expensive campsite, but I'm within about 2 miles of the employee parking lot where the bus picks you up to take you to work. So it's prime. Well, it's not prime tourist season because it's in the fall, but it's prime tourist season for retired folks, I think, because that's about all you see there at this place. There are some families that come on the weekends more, but during the week it's more, the kids are in school, so it's more retired folks. But it's also the people that have season tickets, and they come for the craft show, and those are my customers. it's not the mother and father and their 2 or 3 young kids. They're not my audience. I never sell anything, or very rarely. Mother's Day, the only time I'll sell something to someone who has little kids is on Mother's Day. Other than that, no. But anyway, so that's what I got coming up, and over the next couple of weeks, I probably won't make another video until I get back on the road again. But this is my normal Texas to Virginia trip, and then once I get back to doing things normal again, which will be, it may be Christmas time before I make another normal trip, because I need to go to, I will be in Texas late. I will leave Missouri, go to Texas, do the market there, see my daughter, and I need to be in Georgia for Thanksgiving, and I need to be with my daughter on Christmas. And I'll go to Georgia on Thanksgiving to be with my wife's family, and it gets complicated. It seems like the older I get, the more complicated life gets. But anyway, take care, folks. Bye-bye.